How are you doing?
Thank
it was
you,
amazing. The boys are sharp.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it was a great thing to tell them what they will not be told in the classroom.
That's true.
But also, most importantly, to have conversations with people in the roles they want to play in future. So kudos.
Yeah, I mean that's prosaic, and the tradition goes on. Even in my days in the early 90s, likes of KKD came through. You know, he belongs to the
80s,
much earlier
right.
generation. I remember when he was on radio, Pops on the Move in the 90s, when rap music. And so we hold him in high esteem. I mean, and yesterday I saw glimpses of the presentation to the boys, and I think that lots of us will have to go back and also mentor and inspire the coming generation.
Especially those within the business class.
Oh, that's what we are. I mean,
I hear you. Yesterday I learned a lesson though, and discussing with KKD. There was a gentleman who was very well dressed, so he won a prize from KKD because he took some shirts, some nice, trousers and chocolates and all those things, books for the kids to read. There's a gentleman who was well dressed. He won that award, and he speaks very well. So we had a speak out session as well, and we all at the top, headmaster, everybody thought he won it, but the people down there said he didn't win it, because they believe that he had won one already, so he can't win the other one, even though he deserved it. And I said, this is a real lesson of life, really. I mean, because he speaks well, he's well dressed, but because he won best dressed, he cannot win both prizes.
I mean, sometimes
crabology.
It's also good for it to go round, so other people are also inspired.
But the person who is qualified.
I mean, it's just
Fred. Morning, how are you doing? Nice mug.
Well, nice seeing you.
Yeah, you wear them alone. International relations.
If you want to just say, Fred, bring me a smoke. I will say wear them.
Fred is no more local, international.
Yeah, international relations.
You know what, Johnny?
You have abandoned me.
I know who to look for.
I used to be your brother.
When I need a visa, I mean, since he's in the international sector.
I haven't heard that one.
Anyway.
Johnny, I used to be your brother.
Yes.
I used to be your brother.
Until you decided to abandon me and wear nice food.
He's not international now.
Yeah, international.
When they go international,
locals,
you know.
Anyway, yesterday the special prosecutor, Bleobi Kisie Jabin, I had to say that so Fuseni hears that loud.
Oh, I didn't.
He spoke, and I'd want us to take a listen to him quickly, and then we will follow up with Edem Senanu of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, and then we can come back and have a conversation.
According to the OSP, 31 cases are currently pending at various levels of investigations. Kisie Jabin says his office will from January institute a range of measures, including corruption perception league table for government institutions and assessing major state contracts.
The OSP will institute, as part of its Pressure for Progress drive, an annual Ghana Corruption League table to assess perceived levels of public sector corruption in the estimation of experts and business people. In aid of this, public agencies will be ranked against each other on a corruption barometer, and the results will be published every 9 December. The OSP would also carry out anti-corruption risk assessment and review from January 2020 of all major public contracts, legislation, and draft legislation. This is intended to avoid toxic deals and the prevalence of judgment debts and arbitration awards.
On the allegations of bribery by Joabi MCE nominee Alexander Safo Kantanka, he indicated that the police has submitted its docket on the case as his office continues with its investigations.
The police and the OSP are working together forcefully in respect of this case. And so, indeed, the docket itself has been handed over by the IGP to the OSP, and we are in the middle of the investigations.
He reiterated his resolve to deal with EC officials who manipulate election results as he works to suppress graft to its barest minimum.
Let's now take a listen to Mr. Edem Senanu of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption.
Government must provide all the resources that office needs. If that is taken care of, I think that what he's saying is feasible. So he just needs strategy, And I would say, look at the historical data, identify where over the past 5 years we've had the biggest issues. If the range is 1 million to 5 million or 1 million and above, easier, then you set that as the minimum threshold within which various MMDAs must provide documentation to you for you to do a risk assessment. I think where we have failed is very often there's little prosecution and very few people who are sanctioned to set a precedent for people to be scared. Ghanaians are not scared at all because how many cases have we had? If the SPO will seriously ensure that people are found culpable, they are jailed, they are paying back, not that you jail and then you come back and enjoy the booty. That probably will send the strongest message yet. Because if I look at the last 5 years or so, I think the real issue has been that very little prosecution. All the cases media has come up with, investigative journalists have come up with, we don't see the end of the road to the extent that people have been jailed and money has been, recouped. The ideas he's raised are likely to send shivers down certain corridors where we now need to make sure he gets a lot of support. Because when he talks about examining pink sheets, we now need to make sure that political elites don't have the way of, intruding and interfering with his work. The corruption league table, institutions where they've had a free for all, will now start thinking twice about that. So, yeah.
That's it. Let me begin with you, Isa. So this is what the special prosecutor is saying. He certainly is not too happy about the amount of money that he has. He said when he went there, the place was not set up. He's looking at setting up to hit the ground running. But finances is a problem. What do you say?
Good morning to you again, Johnny, and good morning to Fred. Good morning to the good people of Ukankwe North as well. And I hope that they had a good weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Johnny, about the office of the special prosecutor. Johnny, this was one of the creations of the current government. Right. I recollect back in 2017 or so when we passed the act. It was something that we all looked up to, and we expected that it was one of the vehicles we're going to use to fight the age-old cancer that is eating us up as a people. We have gone through regimes. We saw the appointment of the very first OSP, right. Issues that were associated, and I think that we have learned from the experiences. I heard the OSP, the current OSP, Mr. Kisia Jabin, speak. I heard snipers of his, and at least he was praising government. He's been in office for barely 4 months or so, right? Right. For 4 months, and I heard him talk about the fact that finally we know where the office location of the OSP is. A 10-story given to them for their full use. Right. We hear what he has in store, and I am excited, and I'm looking forward to this league table that he's been talking about. He spoke about it at his vetting. Yesterday being an anti-corruption day, sort of commemoration or something. They had a program somewhere, and they espoused what his programs in the coming years. But you see, as a country, resources, not just as a country, even as individuals, as entities, all economic units. I mean, resources are always limited, and then our wants are unlimited. So we tend to have this priority and prioritize where we really want to make an impact. Right. I think that this is a very important thing that we as a government under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is done. And we are still in the budget cycle. I'm looking forward to him having enough resources to run some of his programs. And I don't think that he's going to be starved of any resource. It's good that his programs on the budget cycle is still ongoing. If there are issues to be resolved, this is the appropriate time for him to bring it up. I'm sure with the support of the Attorney General and Parliament as an institution, we should be able to provide him with the requisite resources for him to roll out his program. But I am excited about his programs, especially also about the risk assessment thing he's been talking about. This is being proactive. We won't wait for the events to happen before we go chasing. And once he assesses the risk of those entities or transactions, and we know the openness of it. You see, yes, he did one on the Japan. He was invited to do one on
No,
Japan.
he was not invited. He did one on his own account.
There has to be a complaint, and I'm sure there was a complaint.
There wasn't a complaint.
He took the matter on his own.
He did a corruption risk assessment on Ejapa himself. You know,
himself.
Yes, he did.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good that as a nation we are developing some of these institutions. We are making these institutions stronger. And I'll cast my mind way back to when we had the visit of Obama, who advised us that look, it's not about strongmanship, it's about building institutions. And once we have strong institutions, it's the only way the system can work to the benefit of all Ghanaians. So I think that we should still keep going, building institutions, and especially with new attempts like the OSP.
What do you say to those who say, look, he's also beginning to talk too much like Mr. Martin Amidu, and that it appears that office is reserved for talkatives? What do you say?
I don't think that in the last 4 months I have really heard him like that. Besides the commemoration of this anniversary, I don't think that his office is coming to the limelight, or personally I don't recollect hear him speak. But I've heard him take on some issues of national concern that we thought people have been invited to the outfit, and investigations are unfolding. And we all should know that, look, the wheels of justice actually grinds very slowly, and so we should give him the opportunity to settle in the office and be able to run out some of his programs.
I hear you, Fred. What do you say? You heard the office of the special prosecutor, they Adam Senano as well spoke, and you could clearly hear that there's an issue setting up, because Kise Jabin's focus is to set up the institution. If I remember him from his vetting, he said when he leaves at age 50, his gift to Ghana will be that he set up a fully functional office of the special prosecutor that would really serve the purpose for which it was intentioned. But he says that you are stifling him of funds, and that is not good.
Well, Johnny, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to your very self, our viewers, and my former friend. Johnny, the problem we have in this country is that the willingness and the commitment to do things are simply not available.
Oh.
And so we prefer the rhetorics. We prefer, let's create the impression we want to do something. Either two, we said Mr. Martin Amidu was a problem. We said he was talking too much. Some said because he was not coming from an MPP stock, that is why he was behaving the way he was behaving. Eventually, he retired from that particular position, or he resigned. He wrote extensively about some of the things that happened. At a point, he even dared the president. They push him to the wall. He will let everything out. He will let the Ghanaian public know what even the president himself did. He told us about how, at a point in time, the Attorney General had to come to his house early in the morning, try to convince him when he was investigating the Japan deal.
Is it Attorney General or Finance Minister?
Finance Minister, sorry, thank you very much. Finance Minister, thank you very much. Sorry for the error. The Finance Minister went to his house early in the morning, trying to impress on him not to do his work as would have wished to do it. So straight away, you know that the government is not really committed to fighting corruption. But because they mentioned it prior to the elections of 2016, they must do something that resembles that. And so they created the office. We have created it. We say we have created it. But the logistics to work with, we will make sure we don't give them to you.
Oh, how?
So you are not able, but that is what they are saying. I'm not the one saying it. I'm only echoing what they are saying. Martin Amidu said these things. And the new person, who now is seen as an MPP person, is seen, I don't know. He's also complaining about the same things.
He's a professional lawyer.
Well, I say he is seen because of his associations and friends.
By who?
And his relationship. By the general Ghanaian public.
Okay.
People, we know ourselves.
Fred.
We know ourselves. We know where we go. We know who our friends are.
Fred.
We know the people we play around with. And so people can easily tell where our political lineages are.
But he appeared before a bipartisan committee in Parliament and they passed him.
I think that is not a very important issue. Really.
Oh, why?
No, for me, I don't really want to dwell on that. I want to dwell on this thing.
Allow me.
That the president said he wants to fight corruption. And everybody who has observed our president since he took over office and his attitude towards issues of corruption can tell clearly that the commitment is not there. And so I was not surprised when some persons decided to nickname him clearing agent. Because some of the scandals that have happened in his government and the way and the manner he went about it. Because we thought he was the president, he has all the powers. And yet, before he realized appointees, anytime they are mentioned in any form of scandal, he tried to whitewash it, push the whole issue aside, reassign you. In some cases, he himself come out to defend them openly. They've not done anything wrong. They've investigated. Everything's all right. We heard about the Catch for Sit East saga. You saw the way the president went about it. Concerns were raised about 2 deputy chief of staff at the president at the time. We all saw how it ended. We saw the boss scandal, the way it was handled, Australia visa scandal. We saw. So there are several cases that we can make reference to and the way they were handled. And so for me, this office, it was just to create an impression that we want to do something. Because even before that particular office was put in place, some of us said, go into our laws. We already have several investigative bodies in this country. And if they are well-resourced, and we give them that political strength and power that go ahead and do your work as per law, we don't need even the office of special prosecutors to be able to do any of these things. The BNI is there. In some cases, they do their work, and then they are not allowed to even put their work out. And I'll use, for instance, the boss scandal issue to battle the point. Just when the sector minister, Minister of Energy, has set up a committee of all the various agencies connected to the ministry and the security agency to investigate the issue. They've not even finished their work. Then a report emanated from the BNI clearing everybody. Till date, we have not seen any report from the committee that was set up to properly investigate the issue and get to the bottom of it.
So are you saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is needless?
From what we are seeing now, it's not about the personalities who occupy the seat. It's not about the attempts of reference what they're supposed to do. But those who have the political power, do they have the political will? Are they committed to it? Are they ready to sit back with and not interfere with their activities, give them a free hand to operate? I am saying that from what I've seen so far, I don't believe the president, I don't believe the government is willing to allow them to give them a free hand to operate. I don't believe the government is ready to resource them so they can do their work effectively. And so I am not surprised it's operating. A year will come and pass, another 2, 3, 4 years, we'll come back to the same table. I wouldn't be surprised if one day, just like Mr. Martinamidu, he also throws in his resignation letter that he cannot continue the work. Because the persons he's supposed to be investigating today are the same persons in court who have put him into power. So will he have the courage and the confidence to say, I'm going to investigate them? There are several issues, even before he took the office. Several people have petitioned his office, several issues have been put on his table. I don't know which of them he has investigated.
He
so
mentioned
far.
the number of cases before him.
And what is happening to them?
Well, it takes time. Like we all know, the wheels of justice grind slowly.
We agree, but at least let the people of Ghana know that something is going on. Let us know that, okay, we have received this case, this is where we have gotten to, this is what we have seen so far. As the people should know.
But don't you...
Then it will build that confidence in all of us.
Don't you suppose that if, for example, I'm investigating Fred, and at every turn I come to tell the public what I'm doing, and Fred has people in certain places, they could compromise the investigation I'm doing?
Not necessarily. See, what you want to achieve in that office is to inspire some confidence in the citizenry. Because already people have their doubt about the office. Because the way government and leadership has gone about things in the time past. And so you need to be able to endear that confidence in the people by assuring us that, yes, I have come in as a new person. I am ready. I am committed. I want to do the work. And so this is what has come before me. These are the steps we have taken so far. This is what we have gotten to. And then we are hoping that at this point in time, we will arrive at this particular conclusion.
I hear you.
So that all of us will be encouraged to want to go close to him. Whatever information you have, you want to go and share the information with him. But if the man says, now listen, me, I'm ready to do the work. I've taken up the appointment. These are my plans. These are the offices I want to set up. These are the number of staffs I want. And the resources he needs. I was surprised. There seems to be some contradiction. When the budget was laid in Parliament and he saw the amount of money allocated to his office, he cried about it, that the money was too small. The money cannot do the work he wants to do. Then the same person now goes to organize a forum somewhere, and now he's telling everybody that, oh, the president is doing well, the chief of staff is doing well. They've given him a flat apartment to use as an office. So where do we reconcile? How do you reconcile the two? The money that you need for the work is not enough, because it's the same money you are going to use to recruit your staff and pay them. So if it's not enough, it means you cannot afford the staff you want. I've heard him, the number of offices that you want to set up, the investigative department, the whatever, logistics, the media, several departments that you want to set up. You need personnel to work there. These persons must be paid. So if the budget that has been allocated to your office is not enough to take care of all these things, how are you going to do it?
Okay. Fred paints a picture of unwillingness to fight corruption. And he gives a plethora of corruption activities or supposed or corruption activities that have happened that have been cleared. Allegations, well, that have been cleared. Thank you very much. And then now, I'm looking at that with the public perception of corruption in the Akufo-Addo-led administration, particularly given the fact that now even the government communicators and even from the presidency, the word corruption is scantily used. That's the impression on the ground. What do you say? Because if you, for example, go back to 2016, incorruptible Akufo-Addo, corrupt Mahama, incompetent Mahama, competent Akufo-Addo, inept Mahama. You could just say it's just like negative and positive. Now in 2021, you don't hear that anymore. I mean, when people are talking about the president these days, they talk about showboy, they don't talk about corruption.
Did you hear Stephen Amwa yesterday in Parliament?
That's a very.
Yes.
You heard him.
That's a very.
Can we play it?
No.
What are you talking
Don't mind him. Go
My
ahead.
brother Stephen Amwa.
That's an interesting way to look at it. But I, in 2016, said that, and I campaigned, there are videos of me saying that I really have belief in His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because he's incorruptible. Today, I will sit here and still say that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is incorruptible because no allegation has been put personally on him, like we saw with other regimes, where we can also mention the Airbus scandals and all of that, where people in very high offices were compromised on such transactions. Nobody in Ghana can say
Martin
that.
Amidu called him the mother serpent of all
that
corruption.
That is his opinion.
And then he said
that is his opinion.
And then he said
that is his opinion.
Hold on. And then he said,
yeah, but he couldn't say there's a transaction that is
excellent. And then he said in the corruption risk assessment that he did on the Japa, that he doesn't see the commitment of the president to fight corruption now or in the future.
Oh,
now,
the commitment of the president.
Now, if they say the
president took the trouble, you know what it takes to be able to get legislation through, get a bill done through attorneys general, come to parliament. The president is actually shown the way. He promised people that he was going to fight corruption, and one of the vehicles he was going to use was the office of the special prosecutor, and that has been done. That has been done. Yes, we have had challenges with the office. I am sure that if we had I wouldn't say Martin Amidu was a bad choice, but I mean his we know Martin Amidu. When he was appointed, we know what our opponents said about him. Subsequently to his leaving the office, we know what I mean. They are not very.
So, but the president said.
I wanted to make a point. I'll let
you make the point because you mentioned Martin Amidu. The president said that he doesn't regret putting Martin Amidu there. He still has confidence in him. Martin Amidu says he doesn't also regret accepting the position. However, having said this, he says that he doesn't believe that the president is committed to fighting corruption now or in the future.
I'm sure the word there is belief.
And somebody
based on what he has said.
Somebody explained mother serpent of corruption to mean that the mother serpent doesn't go out. it sits at one place. It is the baby serpents that go out to go and bring and bring. I don't know what to say.
I still want
Have you heard that too?
I still want to leave that to the belief of Mr. Martin Amido, and we know the character we're talking about. I won't be here to assassinate his character or speak on his character, but we all know the person we talk about when we mention Martin Amido. I believe that the president, in his commitment to fight corruption, even getting this legislation through parliament, getting this operational, and we can talk about resourcing. We are still in the budget cycle, and we know what we've been talking about as a nation in the last couple of weeks. Rather than us focusing on how to appropriate our resources, we are talking about other political, and people are using the institution of parliament to project their political agenda, and that is what dragging this whole issue. I am sure that Mr. Kisia Jabin will get his day at the committee in parliament. He will be able to lay down his programs. They are going to go through the programs within our resources. They are going to allocate what his priorities are. They're going to allocate enough resources for him to be able to prosecute what his resources are, and that'll be what we'll be looking for in 2022. But you see, going forward, look. Yeah. You can sit there and say you don't know what is happening in the office and all. I heard him mention yesterday that he had 31 cases or so under investigations.
That's right.
And the act, somewhere in the act, he has to report once a year on the activities within the institution. So let's give him the opportunity. He's only been there 4 months.
Johnny, I give him time. Allow him. He would have.
We can be able to assess him.
He'll have some more time.
Oh, Fred. Fred,
you allow him. Fred. Yeah, so you
Fred,
have
you're a nice guy. Stop.
Go ahead.
You are having coffee, so tell. So I mean, somewhere in the act, he will come and tell us exactly what he's been doing. But like investigations, if at everything you want him to tell you what, he probably will compromise the work that he's doing. I mean, since he's been in office, it didn't take him long for him to take a decision on the Honorable Mama Yariga's case, and I mean, something is actually happening for a case that Mr. Martin Amido hanged on like a leech. He came and within weeks he was able to deal with it. I'm sure Fred will be laughing because of for doing the footwork, but he didn't get to the decision point. But once Mr. Jabin came to office, within weeks, he was able to...
Are you suggesting that if somebody starts a project and you come and finish and commission it, you take all the credit?
That's not exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, but what are you saying?
Whatever, it was one of the cases that Mr. Amido always listed as a case under investigations. But once Mr. Jabin got into office, it didn't take him very long to assess the case and its pros and cons and deal with it. Subsequent to that, within 4 months, I mean, he's accumulated 31 cases, and I'm looking forward to seeing his report on the activities that the institution has been done. Okay. But about the resources there, we know no institution in Ghana gets all the resources they want. But at committee, you can prioritize it. By the time the appropriation acts comes out,
I want to read something to you from 2019. This is a CDD assessment on Ghana's corruption situation. It says Ghana lost 9.6 billion cedis to corruption. The Center for Democratic Development says its studies shows that 9.6 billion has been lost from the public purse as a result of corrupt practices in the country since 2017. Speaking at a ceremony to premiere an anti-corruption documentary, the Center's Corruption Watch Initiative, the executive director of CDD, Professor Henry Kwesi Prempeh, said citizens have a responsibility to expose corruption. He talks about weak governance and corruption that hurts the nation, and on and on and on. So this was what he said. I remember on that occasion, government communicators, in fact, government said that the CDD's 9.6 billion figure cannot be correct. But up until now, the government has not been able to tell us how much we lost, because the government, again, cannot say that we did not lose anything at all. Fast forward to 2020, 12 billion is recorded in the Auditor General's report as losses we made in corruption. The Office of the Special Prosecutor is still alive and well. Payment irregularities, salary irregularities, procurement irregularities, all of them in there. How then do you look at all of these losses that are being made with the institutions in place and still say you are committed?
And it goes back to building these institutions and getting them to do what they actually expected to do. One example I did like to cite at this time is look at our Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. Yes, people are saying that, yeah, they probably back, but they are unable to bite. But we have come very far. From when this report did not even go to Parliament, or even went to Parliament, and the PAC did not sit in public for Ghanaians to see the activities happening within our institutions. And you see, when we talk of corruption, most times we want to limit it to the political class and all of that. But the 9.6 billion, however the CDD came to a figure like 9.6 billion, however the Auditor General came to a figure like 12 billion. I am sure the Auditor General should be able to pinpoint to us, this is where we lost X
that's
amount.
what I mentioned.
This is where we lost X
Payment
amount. And
irregularities, salary irregularities, procurement irregularities.
The Auditor General's report will go to Parliament. It will go to PAC. It will go to PAC. They will have their day at committee. I mean, every CD of the 12 billion, I mean, the Auditor General should be able to point out, and whoever is found culpable. Look, corruption, who say, it's a cancer in this society. When you say corruption, what do we mean by corruption? Is it the policeman taking the money on the roadside without cases going to court? I mean, corruption abounds.
I hear you.
It abounds, and for us as a people, we all have to show commitment.
But who is showing leadership?
Oh, but leadership is mentioned. We are trying to build institutions that will be able to take care of some of these things.
It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years.
It's a process. It's never an event for a cancer.
Do you have a timeline?
A time. I mean, it's a process. We're putting in.
Yes, but you know that the process must have a timeline.
Yes, but we are putting the requisite tools. We can't say that within. I'm sure. I am not sure any society, any community, any economy anywhere will tell you that within 10 years we are going to uproot corruption.
No, I'm not saying uproot. I'm saying that setting up the institutions.
But we have put the OSP is a major departure. There was nothing. We started from scratch by getting the act going, and it's one of the biggest institutions like TRAG and others have been resourced more under this government than any other time in our history.
Let's go to Parliament quickly. The Honourable Stephen Amwa, he is the Member of Parliament for Ishia. So Dr. Stephen Amwa, take a look at him speaking on corruption in Parliament, and he made a very interesting comment. He's also been in the news for traffic irregularities and all of that. And he said nobody informed him that he was supposed to come to court and all of that. That's another matter. But he spoke in Parliament on corruption. AJ, play that video for me, please. Okay, so okay, play the video, please.
So, Speaker, what we are saying is that we agree together. We want to fight corruption, but in the attempt...
A bit of a technical challenge. We'll try and fetch that for you very, very soon. The president also spoke on CTFM some time ago on corruption. Maybe we'll find that tape and play for you. But Fred, the commitment, I'm still concerned about it. What we say and what we do, and the results. CDD had said that we lost X amount. Government says it's a lie, but government cannot tell us how much it is that we lost. And that, for me, is a major step in trying to win the confidence of the people. I'll come to you on that. Play Stephen Amo's video for me.
So, Mr. Speaker, what we are saying is that we agree together. We want to fight corruption, but in the attempt, some are doing better and some are doing better. However, whether we are doing 1% or 2%, all the regimes, whether NDC regime or MPP regime, corruption has been extremely inimical, dysfunctional, and it has given rise to a lot of higgledy-piggledy, mambo-mango, and then abracadabra. And I think it is time we all put all these things to a stop, and as a country begin to redefine new paradigm shift in fighting corruption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Why? Yes, Fred.
Can you get us encyclopedia to try to understand some of the expressions? But on a more serious note, Johnny, on a more serious note, corruption is a major canker that is eating up the society.
Are we punishing people hard enough?
And all of us, regardless of our political affiliations and party, must be bold and courageous to talk about it. It's not everything must defend. I am saying that our president hasn't shown enough commitment to fighting corruption. Setting up an office and appointing somebody to lead that office is not enough. Because things have happened under your watch that all of us were expecting you to have taken some decisions, some actions that will serve as a deterrent. What has happened to the former chief executive of the procurement authority? Then where is he? What has happened? All the things that we heard, all the things that we saw. This is a JPA deal that the sector minister himself came out to say all the things that happened. Monies that were paid. The crew and associates, the president's own left-hand man, the senior minister. What has happened to all these issues? Till date as we speak, Parliament just want to know how much it is costing the president to charter a plane to fly all over the place. They can't tell us.
Well, for Kroll, the Auditor General cleared
but you know the circumstance that which he was cleared. And that is what caused Domelevo to lose his job. We all know it. We can pretend about it. Because Domelevo was doing his work and he was touching the big fish. So they made sure they removed from the water. And they brought somebody who can come and pander to their wills and do whatever they want.
That's not fair to him.
I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I may not be fair, but that's what it is. Anybody following, anybody objective-minded following, that is what they have done. That's why I'm saying that, yes, you have set up an office. Yes, you have appointed somebody to man that office. That is not enough. We have not punished people enough to serve as a deterrent. And unfortunately for the president, the persons involved, and that is how I understand the description that Mr. Matamidu gives to him. So my brother can sit here and say that, oh, as for the president, he doesn't get involved. Yes, he sits in his bedroom. Then you unleash his people to go out there and go and engage all in the thing because he doesn't punish them. Yes, but you just give out the meaning of what Mr. Aminu
somebody told me. I asked Hussein, he declined to.
So upset.
Are you adopting? Are you adopting the person?
I perfectly agree with the person's. Let me finish.
The mother serpent of corruption.
I perfectly agree.
Hold on, he's asking for clarity.
But that is the view of
yes, somebody, but he has adopted it.
That is him. But
it's a beautiful view.
You see, under this presidency, no case goes on.
You let me just
allow him to also. You can please note your.
You see, the point I'm making is that what corruption hates all over the world is sunshine. To throw light on it, and to call the people out, and to punish the people as a deterrent. It is not enough to be running around and say, as for me, I am not corrupt. As for me, I'm not going to tolerate corruption in your government. What a president did formally is that when he heard that something was happening, for instance, at national service, he himself, the president, invited the BNI boss and said, this is what I've heard. Please go in there and do an investigation. When they finished and they submitted their report, he said, prosecute the person involved. All of them were sacked, monies were retrieved, people were taken to court. A president that was committed to fighting corruption, when his own appointee was involved in some allegations, he didn't sleep over it. He caused an investigation to be conducted. The person was subsequently jailed. We saw it. What has happened?
But under this government as well, I know that there are two deputy bosses at national service, Nana B and Gifty Owari, who are taking receive salaries from funds that they're not supposed to receive from. The Auditor General compelled them to refund the thing. It's captured that they refund the monies. So what you're saying, refund, if we're really committed, we will not be equalized. We'll be punishing
I am not privy
people.
to this fact, and so I cannot go into the details.
But I'm telling you,
that it is not enough.
Unless you doubt my journalistic prowess.
I am not.
Right.
So if the Auditor General had not sent this and brought it to the fore, and then maybe they just invited them to pay their money back, were they aware that they were not supposed to draw money from those coffers?
In fact, there was also Ajua Van Vika.
Or it happened inadvertently. Sorry?
There was also Ajua Van Vika.
And so we need to find out the circumstance that with the money end up in their accounts that they have to pay back. Maybe, yes, it happened by mistake.
No, it was not
Maybe.
an account. So clarity. So they're not supposed to be getting their salaries from a certain source, but they were paid over a certain period from that source, and then eventually they were made to refund.
Yeah, so maybe
those
so
months, right?
you can't describe that as corruption.
That's salary.
Salary.
But it wasn't double salary.
That's right.
Salary irregularity.
That's right.
It
From a
wasn't double
source.
salary.
But salary irregularity.
We have had
we are not-
cases
we are
in
not
this country of
hearing
double
you.
salary.
So
It
you are
wasn't
in government.
But you're in power.
You are in
Prosecute the
power.
people.
Oh, okay.
You are in power. You are in government.
All right.
Show responsibility.
Okay.
If somebody has engaged in wrongdoing, follow
That's
the
what I'm
dictates of the
asking.
law.
Do we punish? Are
Do
we
you
punishing
understand?
people
Don't
enough?
come and sit on radio and start pointing fingers when you have the powers to punish, you have the powers to prosecute, you have the powers to sack and to do whatever that it takes. You have not done any of those.
there
But
was
you
a
come on
justice
radio, all you
grind
want to
slowly.
achieve
You know that.
is to say again.
The rules of justice grind slowly.
It's been
Opponent's
grinding.
case is
This
still
one
in
is too
court.
slow.
Opponent's
As for
case is
this-
still in court.
You see,
And the likes we saw what
a
happened
government
in
and a
NCA.
president that is committed.
won't say
Please
to
let me
equalize.
no, let me finish.
Allow him, please.
A president that is committed to fighting corruption. It's not when you go after your political opponents. If your political opponents, you can treat them whichever way you want to treat them. You can handle them whichever way.
Is that what you see?
But look at the examples he's mentioning. Meanwhile,
Are they
several
not- are
things
they
are
not-
happening
are
under
they
your
not-
watch.
Are they not corruption?
Can I continue? Several things are happening under your watch. Your own persons are involved. And you have closed your eyes to it. You are not seeing it. As your political opponent, you can persecute them. You can run after them just to distract them. If you don't have any evidence, we are all for what is happening in the police case. And clearly you can tell. You can tell if you are very objective-minded what is going on.
The matter
But
is
because
before-
in
the
court,
matter is
so
before
nobody,
court, yeah.
that's right.
We
That's why I
cannot
don't
go
go into the
inside,
details of it. But all of us can tell. We are hearing all the things that are happening and what the judges and everybody is saying. So that is not a sign that is not any sign of commitment to fighting corruption.
I hear you.
Governments that want to fight corruption, presidents that want to fight corruption, they start it from their own homes. In this case, they have evidence of his own persons involved. What are you doing about it?
And
Do you understand?
Okay.
Fred,
Allow coming now for me so that we can
Fred.
wrap up.
there is no allegation that has been made against appointees of this government that has gone uninvestigated.
Excavators missing party in Yasika. Has it been investigated?
The
Professor
whole
Frimpong Boateng-
the whole Galamsey issue
No,
was
it's
dealt
not the
with.
whole Galam. If you bump everything together, I'm saying that the
The whole
specific.
Galamsey thing was
I'm saying that the
was dealt with.
specific issue
The
of.
COVID allegation.
Hold on.
But you
Hold on for
see-
me.
you
Hold on for
see,
me. Hold on for me.
Anybody
No, so I'm asking-
anybody can make an allegation.
So I'm asking a question. I'm saying that in that video, the police invited Mr. Ekoewusi, but Professor Kwabenas Frimpong Boateng, who said party here Sika missing
Did you
excavators,
see all those
he was
videos?
not. Allow me, please. He was not invited.
By who?
But
There are institutions who
has he been invited?
there are
Do you know?
institutions in this country, whether be the police, track, whatever, who can pick up this issue.
Don't you
if they-
don't,
if
now?
they
Now,
have
as a government, are you not worried that this matter has been more than a year, and no proper investigation has been done or has been
if the
published
institutions
about it?
pick up and they find no merit or no to spend our resources in investigating it, I don't know whether
Don't you think
they
that
have
they
to
should
come
have
back.
reported?
They have to come back to Ghanaians to say we pick up this and we couldn't. Maybe that is why in the case of the OSP there's a provision in the act saying that look, every year you have to come and tell us what you have been up to.
So there's
I
another
don't
one.
know what's the track law or the
act, right.
the acts. I don't, but I lost for the OSP.
There's also the question of the Australian visa scandal. We're told that.
What?
Well, hold on. We're told that an investigation has been done.
Yes.
But we have not seen the report. As a
I-
government,
I-
again, I
see-
ask you,
see the report.
doesn't that put you in a certain fix that look, you say this person is not corrupt as is being said about him. An investigation has been done. The person has been cleared, but the report that cleared the person is not in the public domain.
So your
like we have a free
contention-
SHS
your
document,
contention-
we can all read from it. We have OSP Act, like you're
Johnny,
quoting, we can
Johnny,
read from
is
it.
your contention not having seen the report or your contention that no investigations?
But
were
if
conducted?
you have not seen the report, how do you confirm that there's been clearance?
But there are institutions who do this.
But where's the report? Where are
I'm
the
not
reports?
too sure. I am not too sure. Well, we have also passed the RTI.
Fully
law.
actualized?
There's
fully actualized.
The RTI office.
I say fully actualized.
I said the RTI office.
You're a member of parliament. I'm asking you fully actualized.
I am not a member of parliament.
No, you're a former member of parliament.
The RTI office is operational.
It has the LI. For us to activate our rights under the law.
If you want to have it, the RTI.
I'm saying that you're a former member of parliament. You make laws. You used to make laws.
Yeah.
The RTI has been passed, and I hear that every time we ask questions. Does the RTI has the legislative instrument to make us activate our rights under the law?
The RTI is offices.
You are happy to say that?
Yes, I am.
But you are not happy to answer my subsequent question.
I am happy to tell you that the RTI office is operational.
If
you are looking for such a then you should.
My brother is.
I hear you. Thank you very much. We have closed.
I'm saying that
we have closed.
All of
there
us
is no difficulty.
Have a difficulty.
There is no
because
difficulty.
You want to
let's not get
See,
into
this country belongs to us. No, this country belongs to all of us. And we all agree that corruption is eating us.
Okay.
Let all of us
Thank you.
fight it.
Thank you. Fred, somebody says, tell Fred that we the people of Sal are waiting for him to become our representative in Ghana's parliament. Do you have intentions?
Oh, definitely, but the injustice has been done to the people of Sal. We have become a republic within a republic. For no fault of us. On the 6th of December 2020, a letter commission wrote to us telling us not to vote in the parliamentary elections and that a district has been created for us and that they are going to follow it up with a constituency for us to vote. As we speak now, they have not created a constituency. We don't have a representation in parliament, and all of us are quiet and we are watching. It's an injustice. It doesn't support the rule of law. The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana does not support the letter commission is doing. I am heading to court to go and compel the commission to create a constituency for the people of Santrokofi, Akpafulo, Lobi, and Likpe, 4 traditional areas with a voter population of more than 20,000 people for no crime.
I hear you. Okay. Ambassador Sampiale says this one to you as well. He says, I cannot. Yes. Sampiale.
Oh, okay.
He says, I cannot imagine how my younger twin brother, Fuseni, has the oxygen to breathe. That he still believes that John Mahama is corrupt and incompetent and cited Airbus as his reason. Fuseni, do you read about corruption cases in official reports or you just hear them politically? We're wrapping up. A happy birthday to Anastasia Nana Akosia Buampong of the KNUST. Anastasia Nana Akosia Buampong of the KNUST. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. This is from Eric Ajay. And also to Ajwa Osaibia Odro Kunedu, Director of Administration at the GES. May God bless you. This is from Opari Jewu and the siblings. Also to DSP Dr. Faisal Ayembela, it's your birthday today. Amount for happy birthday to you. The pre-seconds are not too happy about your birthday. And also to you, 40th birthday to Mrs. Maud Na Kwale Agbenyega, wife of my brother Stephen Agbenyega. It's your birthday as well. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday. Yesterday was a birthday of... Okay, yes, I wished him here. And thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale for my outfit 0246 590162. Again, 0246 590162. Get something special for yourself. There's more New Day sports, Hat Bay, and some entertainment. You don't want to miss it.